Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We have some breaking news being reported by ESPN. The main event of a UFC fight night on April 16th will be number 4 ranked welterweight Vicente Luque versus number 5 ranked welterweight Belal Muhammad. And not only am I super excited for this fight, I think this fight announcement reveals with 100% certainty who Khamzat Chimaev's next opponent is going to be. I know a lot of people have been frustrated. He fought in late October at UFC 267. He gets that massive win over Li Jingliang, and we don't have an opponent for him next. I know we've had some subtle hints, but I think this fight announcement in particular finally gives us some answers. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but first I want to give you an early reaction to this initial fight as well as an early prediction. And guys, do me a favor, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure to subscribe and make sure to like the video. I really appreciate it. So this Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad fight is a rematch from 2016 at UFC 205, the same fight card that Conor McGregor won the lightweight title over Eddie Alvarez. And the reason I mentioned the main event of that card is because that's how long ago it was. Now, Vicente Luque brutally KO'd Belal Muhammad, clipped him with the left hand, pretty much knocked him out at that point, but the referee didn't stop it. He followed up with some ground and pound, put him out again. The fight was stopped. It was a first round KO win for Vicente Luque. And I feel like a lot of people are going to look at that fight and they're going to say, well, you know what? Vicente Luque is definitely going to destroy Belal Muhammad again. But it was almost 6 years ago that he got that win. Both guys have gotten so much better in that time, and I think it's a little bit crazy to say, okay, well, based off that first fight, Vicente Luque clearly won. I looked at both of their resumes. Both of these guys have 10 wins since they fought last. They've had some losses in between there, but 10 total wins between each guy since they initially fought in 2016. And I think now is a perfect time for this fight. You look at Belal Muhammad, technically he's kind of only on a 2-fight win streak because he has that no contest. But really, he has not lost in his last 7 fights. He won 6 out of 7, one being the no contest against Leon Edwards. His last fight was December 18th of 2021, so about a month ago, and he destroyed Wonderboy Thompson. A lot of people picked against him in that fight, myself included. I thought Wonderboy was going to go out there and outstrike him. He took Wonderboy down, beat him up for 3 rounds, wins a decision, and I think this was his best win on his entire resume. And not that I look into MMA math too much, but Wonderboy Thompson beat Vicente Luque pretty badly when they fought back in 2019. So that's an interesting, I know Wonderboy's getting older. He's kind of regressing a bit. But Belal Muhammad gets a big win over him. Before that, he beat Damian Maia. I'm not all that impressed. Then before that, he had the no contest against Leon Edwards where he got eye poked, but he was losing the fight. And I'm not going to go too far into the past, but he has not lost since January of 2019. That's how long ago that he last lost. Then you have Vicente Luque. He's on a 4-fight win streak. His last loss was that UFC 244 loss to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson where he got outstruck. And since then goes on a 4-fight win streak. Not the best 4-fight win streak, but he has a good solid win over Tyron Woodley, rocked him and then submitted him on the ground. And then his last fight at UFC 265, August of 2021, great win over Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa took him down, but he made a mistake on the ground, and Vicente Luque Darce chokes him. And I think that's what makes this fight so compelling. I really think that you look at Vicente Luque's skills. I think we can all look at Vicente Luque and Belal Muhammad. Vicente Luque is clearly the better striker. He's super technical, has great power on the feet as well. And also, he's pretty well-rounded. He mixes in his attacks, leg kicks. He's primarily a boxer, in my opinion. But we can all agree that Vicente Luque is clearly the better striker. Now, you look at Belal Muhammad, we can probably agree that he's the better wrestler. He's going to come in and look to take Vicente Luque down. Where this fight gets interesting is Vicente Luque's jiu-jitsu skills and his submission skills. I absolutely cannot wait for this matchup. I think it comes down to, can Belal Muhammad get Vicente Luque down? I know we just saw Michael Chiesa do it, but also if Belal Muhammad's able to get him down and control him on the ground, is he able to avoid the submission? Because I think Luque's jiu-jitsu and submission threat is highly underrated. And then if Belal Muhammad's a little bit worried about getting submitted by Luque, maybe he doesn't try to take him down. Maybe he just tries to clinch with him and beat him up against the cage. Or maybe he even tries to strike with him. I wouldn't advise that. I think Vicente Luque is the far superior striker. But also you have that, battle that I talk about all the time. When you have a good wrestler fighting a good striker, there's that weird thing where the wrestler sometimes can outstrike the striker just because of the striker's fear of the takedown. So I think this is a highly compelling matchup. 2 top 5 ranked guys. Both guys I feel like need another big win before they fight for the title. So this is perfect. Number 4 versus number 5. And just stylistically, it's an amazing matchup. I think this is a perfect headliner. As far as an early prediction goes, and obviously I just kind of quickly broke down the fight, but I leaned Vicente Luque. But I would not be surprised. I think this is close to a 50-50 fight. I think you kind of got to disregard that initial win for Vicente Luque, being it was 6 years ago. Almost 6 years ago they initially fought. So I don't think you can look at that fight and say, oh, Vicente Luque is going to come in and clearly KO him again. Because look what Belal Muhammad just did to Wonderboy Thompson. Even though I know he's on the tail end of his career, I still think it was very impressive. So it really comes down to, can Vicente Luque keep the fight standing? If it goes to the ground, can Luque submit him? I think Vicente Luque will be able to stuff the takedowns. I think he'll be able to survive on the ground if he does get taken down. And I think eventually he probably will beat Belal Muhammad by TKO, maybe in the third round. Belal Muhammad's pretty tough. He's not a guy that's getting finished a lot. I think he's lost like 2 fights in the last few years. He hasn't lost very many fights. And I just think that Vicente Luque is just so good, as far as his striking. I think he's improved his takedown defense. I know he got taken down by Chiesa, but I almost rate Chiesa's grappling a little bit better than Belal Muhammad's. I don't know if that's true or not, and I don't know if that's just in my head, but I think I rated it a little bit better. But also, it's not like Luque's defenseless. There's some guys that get taken down, they're absolutely defenseless off their back. Vicente Luque's not that guy. So even if he gets taken down, I think he'll be able to get up, or he'll be able to just at least wait out the round, not get finished on the ground. And I think he'll also be looking for submissions. So I would not be surprised if Vicente Luque ends up Darce choking Belal Muhammad. But I think it's a very interesting fight, and I'm happy to see 2 top 10 ranked guys finally fighting each other in the welterweight division. I've been complaining about it for literally what seems like years. Last year, we finally started to, unclog the welterweight division. We got Wonderboy versus Gilbert Burns, and then we got some other fights ranked within the top of the division. But for a while there, it seemed like nobody ranked at welterweight wanted to fight each other. So let's look at the welterweight division real quick, and then I'm going to get to Khamzat Chimaev's next opponent. So you have Kamaru Usman as champion. I think it's clear as day at this point, Kamaru Usman is going to be fighting Leon Edwards next, defending his belt against him. So that takes Leon Edwards off the board. You have number 1, Colby Covington. We know who he's fighting next, Jorge Masvidal at UFC 272. So he's off the board. You already went to number 3, Leon Edwards. Then you have number 4, Vicente Luque, fighting number 5, Belal Muhammad. Then you have number 6, Jorge Masvidal, who's fighting Colby Covington. And then you start to get to Wonderboy Thompson, who's coming off a 2-fight losing streak. Then you have Neil Magny, who has been begging for the Khamzat Chimaev fight, but he has a fight with Max Griffin coming up. So I don't think the UFC is looking for an opponent outside of that. I think the next fight, and we've had some hints for it in the past couple weeks, I think it will be Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns on that April UFC, I think it's 273 fight card. I think it'll be on the main card of the pay-per-view. And we will finally get Khamzat Chimaev's next opponent. It will be Gilbert Burns on that card, and I am super excited for that fight. I think that's a very compelling matchup. And, unless the UFC was going to say, okay, let's do Khamzat versus Wonderboy. But at this point, what does a win over Wonderboy really tell you? Wonderboy's lost to Gilbert Burns. He just lost to Belal Muhammad. Who wants to really see that? I personally don't, considering especially he's been out-grappled by those 2 guys. So what is Khamzat going to do to him? I think Khamzat is an amazing grappler. He's going to go out there and beat Wonderboy Thompson. And I know the UFC wants him to win, but they want him to get a credible win. And the reason they booked that Leon Edwards fight 3 times over for Khamzat Chimaev, even though it fell apart, is because they wanted to fast-track Khamzat Chimaev to a title shot. And that's exactly what this Gilbert Burns fight does. If Khamzat Chimaev can go out there and get a quality win over a guy like Gilbert Burns, I think Khamzat Chimaev unequivocally will deserve the next welterweight title shot, especially when you have a little bit of redundancy in the welterweight division. You have Colby Covington already lost to Kamaru Usman twice. You have Gilbert Burns, who I guess if he wins, he would be kind of in line there, but you have him. He just fought Kamaru Usman in 2021, and he will have just lost to Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev can pull off the victory. You have Leon Edwards. Depending on what happens there, I guess if he's champion, he can fight Khamzat, or he will have lost twice to Kamaru Usman by this point in time. And then you start getting into, guys who really don't deserve it yet. And you have guys that have already fought, for the title. And maybe, I know Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad would probably be the next guy in line after Khamzat if he does beat Gilbert Burns. So 100% Khamzat Chimaev can go out there and beat Gilbert Burns. He will be fighting whoever's the champion, Kamaru Usman or Leon Edwards, for the title. How ironic would that be if Leon Edwards pulls off the upset over Kamaru Usman in their rematch? And then finally, the 4th scheduled fight between the 2 would be Leon Edwards as welterweight champion versus Khamzat Chimaev. That would be an absolute incredible story after the fight getting canceled 3 times over. I think that would be insane. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.